Hello everybody, welcome back to another stream. Hope you're doing well as always. So, on yesterday's stream, I know we went through the Fog Rift Catacombs more or less last. It's kind of all I remember doing. And yeah, we pretty much just finished whatever else we had in the gravesite plain area. So, Fog Rift Catacombs. Did not do the Rivermouth Cave. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Oh well. So, today on stream we'll be going more or less through Castle Ensis and the Erdtree Plateau, assuming I don't get bodied by Rellana, which I'd be a little bit surprised by if I'm being cheap and using things like the Let Us Summon and or the Mimic tier. So, we should be able to get through a significant portion of the game, I think, tonight. So anyway, Astinex, Sahelanthropus, Methoda, nice to see all of you again. Welcome back to the stream. So, coming up here, we get a Carian Knight Troll, which I was very surprised by on my first playthrough. I meant to do an etymology check for Ensis, but haven't gotten around to it. Hit the wall? That's kind of funny. Why was that not a thing? I got squished. I thought the hitbox was coming a little bit later. I don't believe this troll respawns. There we go. So anyway, I wonder if Ensis is derived from Mensis, which could be moon, which would be in line with Rellana having the twin moons. So from this guy we get the Somber Smithing Stone and Royal Magic Grease, which says... It is a solidified knot grease made from a mixture of magically resonant materials, craftable. Coats armament adding heavy magic damage to attacks. The effect lasts only for a short time. Believed to have once been bestowed upon low-ranking Carian knights in lieu of the family's characteristic swords. So what that means to me is this is probably given to people who are not proficient in magic themselves. Kind of like how, I guess this might not be the best example. I was going to say like how people were originally given like the first firearms as opposed to like devoted archers. So after I kill this dude and loot the room, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the side of grace just so I have that extra heal. Yeah, when I saw the Carian dudes here, I was like, what is going on here? Because I was under the impression that the Shadowlands might have been separated from the Lands Between way earlier in the timeline, like when Marika created the Erdtree. So having these things show up here really made me reconsider whether that was a possibility or whether or not these guys just came in here later. It's kind of interesting that they made this troll a non-respawnable enemy for some reason. Because we have enough trolls that show up in other locations where they do respawn. Maybe it's just to make it a little bit easier for players. Which, if you want to think about like the lore implications of like why some enemies respawn and others don't, good luck. Don't know what else to tell you. I'm actually surprised I hit the dude as well as the dog. Hey, Elden enthusiast, how's it going? And Methoda. Wait, did I say? I think I welcomed you back. Alright. No dudes over here. This feels like a place where they would just like have an enemy jump down at you or like a bird attack you or something. It's almost surprising that there isn't one. Alright, so now we get another Erdtree chest, which has Milady. So I made a stupid joke that Castle Ensis, where we get Milady. Milady is a super cool weapon. I do wish there were more light greatswords in the game. So anyway, Milady, a light greatsword that is a sword whose blade matches the length of a greatsword while being constrained to a minimal weight. Nicknamed after ladies of noble status for its refined appearance. With cultivated form, one could wield this weapon as swiftly as one might a straight sword. And then the skill is Impaling Thrust. Yeah, I feel like if I was on a different playthrough and I could like get Milady as an early game weapon, it would just be one I would rock an entire playthrough. Tips Fedora, exactly. So I think we've got a patrolling Black Knight, and then we've got some sad boys around here. So I'm going to have the Black Knight come down, then I'll do some jump attack spamming. Hey, our Crusader, did you miss anything? Yeah, we only got Milady for Castle Ensis. But how's it going? Yeah, pretty much we just started and fought the troll, and not too much important beyond Milady. Uh-oh. Okay. Damn it. I was hoping for like the shield or something. Loyal Knight's Cookbook. A record of crafting techniques of the Royal Carian Knights. It gives us Royal Magic Grease and Drawstring Royal Magic Grease. And that has the Carian sigil on it, I think. I wasn't paying too much attention. I think we can kind of see, yeah, we can see the other fort over there, which we can't get to from here. We need to pretty much be in Shadow Altus to do that. Now I'm curious if we're going to get a note from Leda over there by the cross or anything like that. Silver pickled fowlfoot. Gotta rest, or gotta heal up before we rest. Okay, so Castle Cross message. So my first playthrough, this message wasn't by this, I think. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't do the tower first. We get another Shadu Tree fragment. Elden was sick and helping friends at the DLC lately. How's that going for you? I saw Cosmos doing a seamless co-op DLC run, which that has to be kind of hard to coordinate for getting people into the DLC and everything, I guess. Anyway, Methoda had a question or a statement, but I will check that out after I read this. Message left by Needle Knight Leda addressed to kindred spirits who also pursue Miquella's trail. Kind Miquella seeks the tower sealed by shadow and the gate of divinity found there. If we are to reach him, we must burn the tree that seals the path, and for that we require a flame. So this is really weird to me, that they kind of already know this information, because Miquella goes to the Shadow Keep to like discard his rune for whatever reason. You know, I never thought about this. Does Miquella have Mesmer burn his body? Has he been burning himself like bits of Mesmer's flame? I don't know. Like, I like the idea of Miquella like losing his body from Mesmer, but that doesn't really line up super well with all these crosses in random locations. I abandoned here the flesh of my body. I don't think that's going to trigger anything from Onspok. So, okay. Methoda was asking, do I have a theory on what the Shadowlands actually are? Is it a whole shadow dimension or something? So in one of the pre-release interviews, Miyazaki said that the Shadowlands were once connected to the lands between, which makes it seem as though they were all one landform, which is kind of what I go with. And the when, whys, and hows it became separated from the lands between kind of remain a mystery. Many people believe, because of the story trailer, that the birth of gold coinciding with the birth of shadow could mean that's when the land was veiled in shadow, from Marika ascending to divinity, which makes a lot of sense based off what you see with the story trailer. But it feels like no matter how you try to put the timeline together, that there's some inconsistencies that's hard to reconcile. And then Elden was asking, would Mesmer even help Miquella? He divested himself of his gold. Would that make him similar to us, or does he still have grace? I don't know. Like, I don't know why Miquella would be in the Shadow Keep to begin with. Obviously, his Great Rune fragments can be found by Sunflower, but the rune itself falls from the sky when we go over there, which suggests to me that it's not as though Sunflower had anything to do with Miquella's abdication of his flesh, I guess. So does that mean Marika was there originally, and is there a purpose to that? It would have been nice if there was some more connection to like the Shadow Tree and the Chalice thing, whatever it's called, like the viewing thing, but we don't have anything. So this might be one of the deadliest spots in the entire DLC. As we drop down, we get 3 wolves. And hey, Tony Pepperoni, how's it going, my man? How come I don't have lingering hitboxes? Wait, why didn't my R1 go? Like, my command just did not get buffered. That's weird. We got some arrows. I didn't want to jump down here yet. I meant to go through the secret realm. Not realm, but place. I guess once I open the gate, I'm going to need to remember to go back to like the little alcove thing. You've been reading a bunch? What have you been reading? Like lore research or just fiction in general? The stuff on Miyazaki's shelf? So we got some random turtles, cool waterfall, but no cave. Nope, there is a cave. I forgot about this. Must not be anything too important there. Oh wow, that's interesting. It was like the water was pushing me down. Interesting. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. Some knot resin. Okay, yeah, it wasn't significant. I think it's like, okay, it must just be being in the water interrupts the momentum of the jump. That's interesting. Hey Cosmos, how's it going? Oh, you stopped streaming already? This is some banging fashion? Thank you. Appreciate that. I liked your picture that you posted. Your roar type thing going on. That was really good. Smithing Stone Tier 4. Galaxy Dragon, nice to see you again. Not the turtle. Can't believe I actually killed the turtles. You can never bring yourself to hurt them. It looked at me funny. I had to battle. Speaking of which, I saw like a game that kind of looked like a Pokemon clone that looked pretty funny. I think I posted a video of it on the Discord. I'm really bad at remembering names, so I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Okay, give me 1 second here. Cosmos lost a lot. Frenzy screaming at people in seamless co-op? Were you doing invasions? Is that what your stream said? I've not really messed with PvP, to be fair. Maybe I should turn on like the Taunter's Tongue. Because I haven't really been invaded once this playthrough, surprisingly. Do people even invade? Alright, what was I doing? Oh, right, the alcove thing. Oh Lord, he see me. Got him. Is it over here? Where is that entrance? Oh, maybe I need to like fall off somewhere. Oh, yeah, I think it's over here. One thing that I do like is that they often will put something in the line of sight somewhere to encourage you to explore a bit more, because otherwise you'd be really likely to miss something like this, even though it's not that important. Just kind of cool to see the amount of detail that they put into the level design. So get the Glint Slab Firefly, which is a glintstone firefly improved by selective breeding, mainly found near Manus Meadow. The glintstone that produces its light has become freakishly enlarged, while the span of its life is as brief as a whisper. So that kind of hints that there is a kind of causal link between glintstone and life, I suppose. And it's also interesting that it was performed, or like it was created through selective breeding, because the English descriptions of the fireflies implies that there might be some kind of a relationship between being a glintstone firefly versus a silver or gold one due to mating, which isn't quite there in the Japanese, but maybe that idea is preserved somewhat in that description right there. Although, I mean, this would be the end product of it, not as stuff that they actually have mated. So, anyway, I digress. I can't be invaded solo unless I tongue. Not recommended, though. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get non-stop invaders. Alright. This Ash of War is just too cool. I would almost imagine it'd probably be good for PvP, but I just figured there's so many better options in general. And the people that invade are probably going to be like full-on sweats. Right. Mesmer Soldier's Shield. Worn round shield carried by soldiers loyal to Mesmer the Impaler, the largest of all metal shields in their class. So, this kind of reminds me of like the snowflake looking like design for the Carian shields. But maybe it's a star, I don't entirely know. This is like one of the worst spots in the DLC coming up around here. Maybe it'll be a lot easier to manage with this Ash of War, though. Also, just like knowledge is half the battle. Because my first time going around this area, I didn't know how to get up here, so I just tried to pick them off one by one with my dumbass melee build, and that was not the play, I can say. Keep trying to crouch as though I need to. Alrighty. And isn't this like a tougher enemy? Sort of a page. Bonk. Alright. So next we will get Moonrathil. Oh, the funny thing is, I could probably cheese the hell out of Moonrathil, depending on positioning. Which I did cheese Moonrathil in my first playthrough, because I also had Wrath of Gold equipped. They're cheating. Moonrathil's Night Sword. Don't bring a sword to a cliff fight, punk. Alright, let's go ahead and read that and then talk to our spooky ghost. The brass shield's bigger and you also believe it's heavier? Oh, that's funny, Sahelanthropus. And then Corin, welcome back in. You left that shield, a much better aesthetic than the brass shield. Elden Enthusiast had a friend die to the page at Ray Lucaria over a dozen times in a row till he rage quit the game. I mean, yeah, the white attired, the high pages are really tough, especially if you're like not prepared for them. Alright. Moonrathil's Night Sword. Great sword embedded with a blue glintstone. The favored weapon of the steadfast Carian knight, Moonrathil. Moonrathil was the Twin Moon Knight's chamberlain. She was also a friend of the trolls who served the royal family and proudly wielded their weapons as she fought arm in arm with her gargantuan comrades. And this has a unique skill, Tremendous Phalanx. Skill of the Enchanted Troll Knights. Creates a defensive arc of enormous magic loop blades overhead, which automatically attack nearby foes. Follow up with a strong attack to chain this skill into a lunging thrust. So that's a pretty cool weapon, but anyway, what was I going to say about Moonrathil? Right, so I have a short about this as well as, was it Rellana's Remembrance? No, it was the Twin Blades, where the kanji used for Chamberlain does kind of make sense to call her a Chamberlain because it could be the royal attendant of like a noblewoman, essentially. Maybe not royal attendant, but just like the attendant to a noblewoman, and they could potentially like follow that woman if she were to get married into another family and continue to attend on her. So just like, yeah. And another possible interpretation of the kanji, which is more common today, because how many noblewomen do we have, is that it could be understood as a bridesmaid or a groom's mate, whatever they're called. So if that's the case, because Moonrathil was Rellana's quote-unquote chamberlain, it could imply that she was her bridesmaid, and therefore Rellana may have been married to Mesmer. So that becomes a little bit more tenable with the Japanese description of Rellana's twin blades, which doesn't say that the moon and fire were only ever together there. That part isn't there, so it's just more like the moon and the flame were always together in the swords. So that makes it seem a lot less unrequited in the Japanese translation there. Elden said, "Why are there like 5 moons in the game? To go along with all the flames, silly." Without asks, are these the same moons that Ranni and Rennala found, or a separate set of moons? They seem to be a separate set of moons because Rellana met the twin moons at the same time Rennala did, and for some reason there's 3 moons that pop up with her attack, which maybe twins don't mean the same thing in Elden Ring land as they do in real land. Correct. All right. Oh, America! I beg, embrace your child and give us a sign. How long must this holy war stretch on? So this ghost is actually one of the Mesmer ghosts, or Mesmer Forces ghosts, I guess, which is pretty rare. Sometimes like they do have different models. Like in the DLC, we're going to see a ton of Hornsent ghosts. So just kind of cool to notice when they put that level of detail into it. So from this little chalice, we get Rellana's cameo. And before looking at that, I am a little bit curious as to whether or not these statues are supposed to depict America, because if that's the case, that's going to recontextualize a lot of what I thought about them in the base game, because these little ladies pop up everywhere in Liurnia. I called them the Primeval Current statues for no other reason than the sigil on their dresses also appears on Lusat and Azur's robes and whatnot. And it looks also to be the same seal that is on the tattered tapestry within the debate parlor of Raya Lucaria. So I think it's supposed to have originally been the old sigil of Raya Lucaria before the Carians came to take over the school. So if this statue is supposed to depict America, because this dude's kind of praying here, then does that mean America was at Raya Lucaria even earlier than anybody expected? Like, why is this such a prominent thing? Is this like a revision of sorts? I don't know. Or is this just a coincidence and these statues don't really relate to anything and this dude's praying to America simply because it's a church? But I don't know. I guess like the ultimate conclusion we could come up to is this just really isn't that important to the devs. All of the people who place a lot of stock in the visual imagery of the games get screwed, I suppose. And then Galaxy Dragon said, if Radagon's Mesmer's father, that'd be really weird, but it is a Martin story. The third explosion is caused by her sword slam? I guess I'll need to pull out the free cam and like double check. She's probably right about that. Elden said, didn't the Chinese 1.0 description for the Sword of Night and Flame say that the giants and astrologers were joined again when Radagon married Rennala? I don't think it said that, but I don't remember exactly what it said off the top of my head. I could probably do a search on my Discord server, because I'm sure we've talked about it before. Like, I know we've talked about it before, but I just don't remember specifically what it said, because that sounds wrong. But I don't remember. Alright, give me a second here, and I will look it up. Uh-oh. Almost dropped my controller. Right, so it looks like Discord search is not serving me well right now. So, give me a minute. It might take me a minute to find it. I mean, it's probably not the search's issue as much as it is just... It's looking up conversations. Okay, I think I found it. Okay. Hefty whip woven from the flame red hair of a fire giant. Every giant is red of hair, and Radagon was said to have... Wait, no, this is definitely not it. That's the whip. Right, I'm just gonna look it up manually. Right. And use, like, deep L. Oh, wait, no, this is Japanese. I need the Chinese. So give me a minute. Unless somebody already pulled it up. Let me double check chat. Nope, okay. Right, so I'll paste the Chinese into chat and then look up a quick machine translation, which is probably definitely going to have issues. Alright. A magical sword forged to celebrate Rennala's wedding, symbolizing the cold crystals of Queen Raya and the fire of the giants, symbolizing her husband Radagon, are housed in both blades. Both blades. Let me... If anybody in the chat knows, like, actual Chinese, I'd be very interested for this final sentence. Because... I can't see anything which can indicate definitively to me that it would be like two actual distinct blades. Because if that's the case, I wonder if at one point the Sword of Night and Flame is going to be Rellana's twin blades, and then it got changed into something different later on. That's very interesting. Let me post that in the Discord real quick. Possibility that based on Rellana's. Okay. So I think that's just going to kind of be my headcanon about that Chinese 1.0 difference from now on. Oh, I should level up. Wait, is there a Grace in here? Feels like there should be. Probably just because it's a church. Oh yeah, and we should probably go to the place below. I feel like I don't need to do it this way, or I'm trying to remember how I actually did it. Because I know there's the proper way to go, which is probably easier than what I'm doing, but I just don't remember because I didn't go that way my first time around. Solanthropist says, America being involved with the Carians just messes up the timelines even more. I'm not sure that it really does, to be honest, because we don't really know what she's doing before the Radagon-Liurnian Wars. And I could see her like trying to scope out the area on her own in the between the two wars. Or campaigns, I guess I should call them. One slab Firefly. So this wasn't it. Oh well. We'll figure it out. My weapon's Tony's favorite part of the DLC. I really enjoy this weapon. I used it pretty much, almost exclusively once I picked it up on my first playthrough. It's like the Ash of War, just chef's kiss. Also, I always wanted to use Strength and Arcane, so it was the biggest reason why I went back to use this one. The old gods are real. True story. It was too high. Red branch short bow and the page trousers. Go figure. The only bad thing about it is the window wiping animation isn't the best. Maybe best isn't the right word. Is the most satisfying, I guess we can say. So is this how I did it? Oh yeah, I was just blind as hell. That's what it was. Okay, no, this is what I did. So I missed it the first time around. So I'm doing the exact same thing, except I took a little bit of a greater detour. So I guess when you come down the stairs, you're supposed to see the corpse and be like, oh, there's something else going on here. You think there's a dude in here? Yeah, okay. Wolf Crest Shield. So now I get to complain about the lack of wolves in the DLC. Alright, may as well read things here. Glintblade Trio, an old sorcery of the Carian royal family. Creates a sigil overhead from which 3 enemies seeking glint blades appear after a brief delay. The sorcery can be used while in motion. Charging increases the delay. The prototypical form of sword phalanx sorceries saw a different subsequent refinement in the realm of shadow. So, the fact that this is prototypical and had a different form of refinement in the realm of... well, no, that's not... I am, like, misspeaking here. So, the fact that these blades differed from, like, the baseline variant of what's in the Lands Between suggests that they were refined later in the timeline, which shouldn't come as a surprise if it's all, like, Carian related. So my point is, it's not, like, Godfrey time. It's post-Godfrey. Well, whatever. It's post-Liurnian war time, I guess, is the better way to say it. Wolfcrest Shield. A finely made blue shield featuring an engraving of a wolf under the moon excels at fending off sorceries. The wolf is the beast of the Carian Royal Covenant, a symbol of the moon's pride that none can forget, no matter what remote lands they may arrive in. So, the fact that we have wolves, which are supposed to symbolize the covenant of the Carians, is very interesting in relation to what we know about Empyreans and their shadows. So maybe this is supposed to explain that, like, what's going on with Ronnie, but that doesn't help explain what's going on with Marika and Malekith. I meant Ronnie and Blythe, obviously. So, what connection wolves have to fingers is not stated. I've wondered for a long time if it has to do with the fingers' ability to, like, manipulate shadows and white shadow lure. Is that how, like, they're able to keep Blythe under their command? But how the Shadowbound or Shadowhound beasts are created is even more of a mystery now than anything, because it would have been kind of cool if they're like wolves or beasts or something to go along with the meta fight, but it's just finger creepers and not a lot of wolves in the DLC area at all. There are no Radagon wolves, which is both surprising and not surprising at the same time. So I don't know what to make of it, but the cool thing about this shield is that it does kind of depict 2 moons above the wolf. Maybe I should equip it just to show it off a bit better with the model. Oh, wait. And obviously this is the blue shield to the Serpent Crest red shield. Hey Joji Poji, nice to see you again. And then Elden asks, where are Mikola and Melania's shadows? You know, they're around. Alright, so we've got like 2 type things going on. Like, one almost looks like an eclipse, and then we've got like an actual rotating, maybe not rotating, orbiting body on like a celestial orbit or something, which is supposed to depict either a moon or a planet. So I'm really curious as to what all that actually means. So do we have the twin moons and then the dark moon off to the side? Or is Rellana's full moon to the right and then the moons at the top are just... Did I say Rellana? So is Renala's full moon the one on the right of the screen and then Rellana's twin moons the ones at the top? Or is there something else going on? Then it looks like the wolf is standing on fire or something, which is interesting. It is also a little bit strange to me that we don't have many other connections between like fire and the Carians, considering like the Sword of Night and Flame, which is a little bit disappointing for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that. And then Calyx, Global Sequence. Nice to have you both in again. God, if your time is definitely the chillest to live in the lands between, that's doubtable because it's supposed to be like a time of constant war for him, if you believe the one sword monument, I guess. Yeah, these 2 shields do look super cool. Elden's wondering about the shadow art used to forge Mesmer's spear. I'll need to double check that because I don't remember what you're talking about. Solanthropus says the statue of the girl surrounded by 3 wolves keeps you up at night. Like, what does it mean? All right, so as I was like going into my spiel, I had like the thought to talk about like the whole Marika Carian wolf connection. And if she was like a Carian and like wolves and Malekith like represent her to some degree, then could that help explain the depiction of the 3 wolfed women in the place? I screwed that up. And that ghost is scaring me. Alright, this is a hell of a lot easier with this Ash of War. Ooh, brutal. Yeah, I love the Godslayer Greatsword, but that Ash of War is hard to use effectively. Alright, Tony, looking forward to that. The 3 wolves look more like the Radagon wolf in the concept art. Then we got the Black Knight over there. Imbued sword key. Okay. Another colossal weapon user. Smithing stone tier 7. Alrighty. So that's pretty much the base of this place. This is a lot faster to go through than I thought it'd be. Maybe it's part of it is just being able to use like blessings and whatnot. Because I was surprised to kill some of these enemies in one hit. Methoda says that Asher War is crazy. It reminds you of the Saw Spear attack that carried you in your first Bloodborne run. Right. Somber Smithing Stone tier 4. Oh yeah, and I noticed it but forgot to point it out that throughout Castle Ensis, we've got the sigil of Mesmer on the banners everywhere. And also like even in the stones at some places. So oh yeah, and of course, like the bluish, white-hued glintstone fireplaces is also a nice touch. So there's no cool cutscene for this, but we get a cool summon sign for Needle Knight Letta. And you guys are saying they pretty much only have dialogue if you summon them in the boss arena? Letta set is really cool though. You can fix her? Okay. So I actually really liked Rellana's first phase, but I wasn't too happy with her second phase. Just because of like the hyper damage and just how aggressive she can be. It's pretty tough to deal with. Now I can't hear because the damn boss music is so loud. Here I am just kind of like watching Letta get her ass kicked rather than helping out. Oh yeah, because she would have buffed the boss HP if she was out of the place. So I'm going to try to save my flasks. That's really cool. Until second phase. That's weird. I'm kind of thrown off at like how much aggro Letta is drawing. Makes it feel a lot easier to deal with Rellana. Because when I fought her, I was like, I just want to be able to rot her with Rot Breath. To help speed... I was delayed on that. To not have to spend 20 minutes on a fight with her. And so I summoned the 2 skeletal militiamen at +0. Just so I could have a window to safely cast Rot Breath and rot her. I tried jumping. Okay. Letta just saved my ass. Yeah, so you can jump over the third one, and that'll save you. Oh, okay. Okay, yep. No moon on the third one. And I'm surprised that there's like no wind down from that attack. Oh, she switched targets. I was trying to save and make use of Letta. The range. I rolled way too early. Oh god, okay. So I needed to delay the second one. I thought my hit stun was going to make it so I couldn't roll until later. So that's kind of funny. Whoopsies. Joji says, wait, what? Marika Akarian? I mean, I don't really think that because of all the Shaman Village stuff, but she may have, like, infiltrated them to some degree, or, like, the Karians could kind of descend from the same stock as Marika and the Newmans, because there's a lot of odd parallels between Marika and the Eternal Cities and the Karians and the Nox, which is a pain. Feels like they had ideas to kind of like make them be similar, not like intentionally, but then they just kind of rewrote things later on. Uh-oh. I never leveled up. Uh-oh. Can't see. I thought this was going to stance breaker. That didn't. Thanks, Letta. I whiffed. I didn't hit that second follow-up. That sucks. Thanks, Letta. It's just a game theory. Oh, she's gonna phase. Damn it! Okay, that wasn't too bad. I thought she was turning on Letta. I don't like the aggro changes with the summons. I mean, that was still definitely my fault. I just legitimately thought she turned for Letta. Eh. Letta doesn't do anything, so let's do this. I mean, Letta actually does a lot, but I don't want to make it so easy. I mean, I am kind of making it that easy with the Mimic. go. Alright, my roll was too early. Oh man, I suck. I should have died there, I think. That's the stuff that I kind of hate. There's no opportunity to follow up with that. Which, I mean, I should, I guess, know which moves I can follow up a bit more with. I was trying to delay so that way my guy could breath her a bit more. Oh lord, here we go. Oh no! I thought I did that too slowly. Can't see? Okay. I guess I should just stop trying to do the follow-on attack. Legend of Feld, Remembrance of the Twin Moon Nights. Alright. Alright, Elden, you have a good night. And thanks for joining in as always. So, Low Diggity, welcome on in. If Merrick was a Jar Saint, maybe she was merged with a Karian during the process. I don't know. Because we have all the stuff at the mountaintops, which would suggest they were in different locations between the Shaman Village and that. Although maybe they were more connected back then, but I don't know. Good idea, though. Rex is a better upgrade. All right. Methoda asks, does Letta have specific beef with Rellana, or are they just fighting everyone they come across like we are? Maybe she just was mistrustful. That's kind of a good point. Well, if you think about it, we did get that note telling us that we needed to go get Mesmer's kindling to burn the sealing tree. So that's kind of probably her beef. She's just following Mikola the same way that Rellana is following Mesmer. So maybe that's kind of the thing. Although it is really weird if you can get Hornsent to be on the same side as Leda in the final invasion boss fight. Elden wishes there was dialogue if you wore Renala's clothes or something. Thanks, Dylan. No, I mean, that was a lot easier for me this time around with the summon to take aggro, but I spent a lot of time fighting him my first time around. But even with that, like, you guys saw me getting clipped by attacks, which I should have avoided, but it's just very difficult to know when you can punish a lot of these bosses, which is kind of like one of my biggest complaints about the DLCs. If you're playing as a solo no summon user, melee especially. So, thanks you guys for the GGs. When she buffed, she literally cost you a controller. I was not happy about the phase 2. I really enjoyed phase 1. I thought it was pretty rough that her one like double sword sweeping attack could like clip the legs and hit you even if you're blocking. So you had to be really careful with your spacing and positioning against her. But I mean, I was able to forgive that because it's just like one of the eccentricities of the boss, which is not very common in the games. But then once they added in the hybrid damage on top, as well as like all of the additional range stuff to just keep up the pressure even when you're at a distance and not sure if you can heal because the little projectiles that go at you, this fight is just very mentally taxing if you are doing it with no blessings and whatnot. She's so aggressive. Like, the thing is, she is, but she isn't. She's kind of like Melania in a lot of ways, where if you have space, you can kind of work with it. But if she ever has on her like glint blade phalanxes, it's pretty rough. And the windows to punish some of her attacks aren't the largest. Well, that's not really it. Actually, like, she's a lot more punishable than some of the other bosses. It's just the punish windows are slightly short, I guess. I don't know, man. I'm like contradicting myself. It varies on like what attack she does, but she has a lot of combos, which makes it a bit oppressive. Like, she can attack 9 times in a row. We can attack once, maybe twice. So anyway, I'm not really complaining too much. So, remembrance of the Twin Moon Knights. Remembrance of Rellana, the Twin Moon Knight, hewn into the Shadow Tree. Once a Carian princess, Rellana disavowed her birthright and chose to stand at Mesmer's side instead, knowing full well that not even the brilliance of the moon could grant him succor. Before long, she became known as the Sword of Mesmer. Did I read her cameo? I did not. Okay. Talisman featuring a gallant portrait of Rellana, the Twin Moon Knight. Enhances attacks executed after maintaining the same stance for a certain length of time. Engraved as a reminder of the unparalleled devotion of those who left their homelands to serve Rellana. By your leave, we will accompany you wherever your lunar vessel takes you. So that might be like a quote from Moonrathil or something like that. So honestly, when I saw the name Rellana leaked, I was really angry. Not because the name was leaked to me when I was trying to avoid spoilers, because I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the beast when I have a spoiler channel that I need to moderate in my own Discord server. But the fact that she was called Rellana is just... it felt so damn lazy to me. We've already got enough trouble as it is with the damn God and Win names. But to add Rellana to go with Renala, like, I still confuse them all the time. And I know the difference between the characters. It just slips of the tongue abound. Too many R names, indeed. And hey, Jesse R, welcome back to the stream. Galaxy Dragon says, it feels like a proper dance if you know the patterns. Yeah, that's why I really, really liked the first phase. And I felt like the second phase was just a tiny bit too much with everything. Actually, she never did it in this fight, maybe because I was keeping my distance. But I really don't know how to deal with some of her flame-based attacks. Like, I just don't know the moves well enough. Because when she would clip me with one of them, I would pretty much die every time. With no blessings. Oh, wow, 4 levels. Alright, so this will be as much mind as I'm going to get, I think. And then I can start pumping up the fun stats like strength. Pokemon got here to complain about the copy-pasted Troll Knight sword. At least that one has a unique Ash of War. People were saying they added this chair into one of the patches, but I was playing the game before that patch released and this chair was here. I guess I could double check my I could double check my footage to see if it was here on day 1. But anyway, we get to Cosmos's favorite piss yellow colored area. God, it's really bad right now. Shadow Altus. Alright. So here we get the Shadow Keep. The cool thing that we have no idea what it's for. I originally thought that's where they may have like collected the sap dripping from the Shadow Tree. Which seems to be what it's there for, but it's not like it actually lines up underneath the Shadow Tree. Because it's further off in the distance. But anyway. That was that. I don't think she's going to have anything different to say since we've already talked to her.
We are all utterly captivated by kindly Mikula. It is what binds us together.
Oh, you got here too late to complain about that, yeah. So that's it. Did I get the stew? I don't remember.
Go to the misshapen tree of Umbra. In that forsaken place, blood must spill. The blood of your fellows, the Erdtree faithful.
Alright, so I don't remember if I talked about it the first time he delivered those lines to us, but the misshapen tree of Umbra in the Japanese text is like the great tree of shadow. So it uses the same set of kanji as what's localized as great tree elsewhere. So I honestly don't know how relevant that's supposed to be, but I'm just mentioning it because I know a lot of people really like to run wild with those kind of theories. So why not facilitate it from time to time?
Righteous tarnished. What brings you here?
Alright, so he had nothing to say, which is kind of what I thought. Where am I going now? I guess just the Altus, or whatever. I think we'll go to the little fort there after we get the next map fragments. And Diemo, welcome back. And Night Scott, nice to see you guys again. Guardians do love their pools with chairs around them. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I meant to... Oops, this is the wrong one anyway. I meant to talk about the boss room, so thanks for reminding me inadvertently. Do I think that the hunters got ankle inflammation after running on so much cobblestone? From Bloodborne or these dudes? Because their clothes are light enough, maybe not. Unless they like stub their toes or something. So yeah, this was used in the first trailer, I think. And this is where we had like Dryleaf Dane kicking a random Black Knight with the Twin Blade. So they were definitely hiding some things in the DLC. Because I was like, oh man, looks like we get the Crucible Wing Ash of War from like the Twin Blade or something, which is kind of true in a certain way, but not really. Right, so here it looks to show, I think this is on one of the shields that we can get later on, which I don't remember how or where to get. We've got a shield which seems to be depicting the phases of the moon. It's kind of hard to tell, but the top, right, and left are empty, and like the third one's down, it seemed to like get more of the moon faces coming in off like the edges of it, and then the very bottom one is a full moon. And then, of course, we got the Mesmer Sigil and the banana boats with all of them. And then we do have another reflecting pool here, which is probably related to the moon. And for anybody who doesn't exactly know what like a reflecting pool is, it's a body of water that can be used like a mirror to reflect things in the sky. And there's probably more to reflecting pools that I just don't know enough about to comment on a bit more directly. Alright. Night Scout says, that monolith never had the proper shape to collect sap. It seems like an extremely boastful indicator of where the Shadow Tree chalice is, but that chalice doesn't line up with the falling sap either. Yeah. It's like Mesmer's engineers and architects got really bored while stranded and built that thing for fun. Well, the question also is this thing truly a Mesmer people, America folk construction? Because we've got like Hornsent researchers there, or maybe they just collected info from the Hornsent to include in the specimen storeroom and whatnot. It's very strange, that entire region. So we're not far enough yet. We need to go up that hill and like down a bunch of graves, I think. So we get some grave glovewort by a grave. Go figure. And some mushrooms. And we still can't quite make it over there, and there's nothing too important on this river thing right here. I think you might fall to your death here. Maybe not. How did I get down there after all? Oh, right. I see. I sound like your formal professor. You would understand this question. Am I the goat? No. Maybe it's that they may sit and gaze at the reflection of the moon. Yeah, I think that's probably it. And that might also tie into the whole, what's it called? The Oracle bubble type dudes, the Claymen of the ancient dynasty, looking at bubbles for fate. So that might have been a way for the Carians or their students to like study the moon directly and see how it could like guide stars. Nice Breath of the Wild filter. Korn thinks they made Ansbach way too honorable and wise. He does not match with Moog and his bloodlusting followers. Well, to be fair, the Moog that we see doesn't fully beat the allegations because he's still consumed with the Mikola charm. But certainly all the followers that left to run amok don't give Moog the best of names, do they? No, I haven't done the library yet. I've pretty much only just done the gravesite plain, the Cerulean coast, the south half of the map that I can access before Skidoo land. That's what I get for not dual building. Fog Rift Fort. What a jerk. I'm out of stamina. Okay. Fire arrow. Don't mind if I do. Joji only ever thinks in terms of Bloodborne. Their death screams are funny. I just did like a muscle man from regular show. That was a big ol' whiff. Good plays. Then I think I can just leave those dudes alone for now. But honestly, seeing the purple aura corpse makes me not want to do that. He blocked? That's cheating. Ugh! I actually get scared of these dudes when they buff. Because they've definitely one-shot me with 0 blessings before. So I might be okay the current amount of blessings that I have, but they're scary. Hey Captini, welcome back to the stream. What allegations can you not beat? Go ahead and self-report so we can shun you. And Motirian, it's been a minute. So supposedly Skadoo means shadow in the Old English. Yes. So Skadoo is essentially just shadow in Old English, I suppose, or is it Middle English? I think it's kind of a bit of a tragic localization choice. Because even though I say Skadoo ironically, a lot of people will not say it ironically and they'll just assume that it's actually Skadoo. I was being too cheeky. I got scared of the edge, my own strat, and then got gots. I forgot there's a Stake of America there. Oh yeah, it's where we first dropped down. So yeah, with that Black Knight, whose name I did not read, he gets a cool Crucible-esque scorpion frog get over here attack, and we get nothing. Good day, sir. Alright, so they can live through the Asherborn now. Bro, can you chill? Damn, I don't have any of the good flasks to heal more. The Erdtree seed ones. Juju says, at the top of the shield, it is America's crucifix, right? It also resembles a weapon in the game. Sorry, which shield? Are you talking about the Black Knight shield? Because I don't know about the shield, but I know that you can see a depiction of the Elden Ring on their hammer. Oh, that sucks, Dylan. Flickering power, get wrecked. Alright. Round 2, not Electric Boogaloo. It's really dark here considering it's early morning. Garu. Oh, that didn't knock him down. Okay, so maybe I do need the oh yeah, he has more poise. I was gonna say maybe, oh, okay, that's what I must have done. I must have actually just backstabbed him, or I did Wrath of Gold. Yes, I can beat him normally, but that's not nearly as fun. Zong Scoob. I was wondering if I was going to do that. Am I going to get the Rellana armor? Probably not. I mean, I might just read them all, but probably not get them. Corn said, you thought Shadow was a Martin Old English choice, kind of like how he uses Sir in Game of Thrones instead of Sir for knights? Fudge. Well... there's a Stake of America down there. Good to know, even though there's no real point to going that way. There it is. I should have had the realization that the little soap signs would probably point one in the proper direction. Try jumping. I was wondering if I was about to miss that. Oh, that time it worked. Why couldn't I do that the other 2 times? Yeah, so Shadow comes from Kage, at least as far as the Japanese is concerned. So I'm assuming the localizers just wanted to be exotic with it, because it might sound a little bit silly or get too repetitive saying like shadow all the time or shaded. So like I get why they went with Skadu, but I think it might have been a better choice to just make up a term Because, like, Kage-ju, like, shadow tree, as far as the Japanese is concerned, is just kind of like a made-up word as well. Oh, so it does work. First try, baby. Black steel great shield. Okay, so this is an auto pickup from this dude. Because you don't get the crucible incant from him. Feels bad, man. Smithing stone 7. Oh yeah, we got the Greater Potente cookbook, which gives us the hefty oil pots. I'll be honest, I've never used any of the oil pots except on Alexander. I don't know if they're any good whatsoever. Black steel great shield. Weighty shield carried by the Black Knights, servants of Mesmer the Impaler, made of black steel with decorative embellishments in gold. Symbolic of their iron conviction in their crusade, the Black Knights will never yield, nor will they ever doubt their purpose. Okay, so it does look like there is a Elden Ring depiction in the middle of the shield as well. I don't know, like, why it looks like this specifically, because it's kind of a wonky looking design. Almost looks like a furnace vent. Which, good luck with that headcanon that I accidentally unleashed on the world. It reminds me of the one in Home Alone. When that Kevin's not afraid of anymore. Pokemon said Mesmer soldiers were the scarce enemies to fight early on in the DLC, and they were still the scarce enemies to fight even after beating the DLC. Kind of true. Because, well, for me, like, the very scariest enemy toward the end were the damn, what are they called? Not lion dancers, but the lion horn scent in Anira Limb. But I was also on Zero Blessings, and they were just so tanky and could almost one-shot me consistently. Arrows, Soaring Sting Talisman. I'm pretty sure that's, like, not important at all. Yeah, doesn't say anything. Increases range. Should go figure. And so that's that for this section of the fort. I don't remember if there's anything important down there. I know you can just, like, land on the things back that way and be safe and just kind of, like, cheese it and go through it backwards than the way it seems to be intended. So we're going to do that. Why do Marika and Rennala cut their hair off and leave it? Does hair have power, or is it just a gesture? So, apparently, I guess not many people might know about this, but it's a pretty common, I don't want to say like a custom, maybe a trope is a better word, of that if a woman, like, cuts her hair, it's supposed to signify, like, a break from her old identity, and she's trying to do something new with her life. So that's what I imagine the hair thing is about. Oh, I could summon my mimic for this? That's kind of funny. How did the little dude get hurt worse than the big guy? Mesmer Soldier Helm? Oh, and the Greaves? I don't know why, like, this spot is so heavily fortified. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Other than to guard the chest, I suppose. Good enough reason. Serpent Flail. And as we look over here, we've got a bunch of charred corpses. So it seems like even in this place, the Crusade was a thing. Oh yeah, and I guess I didn't show off the corpses that were impaled outside of Castle Ensis either. Thought I heard somebody else, but since I just got a bunch of flasks, I'm assuming no. Okay. Serpent Flail. A flail with coiled snakes for bludgeoning heads. Fire roars within the snake's bodies, inflicting horrible burns. Some of Mesmer's army use these flails to burn Hornsent, to brand them with agony and fear. Unique skill, Flare, O Serpent. Ignites a flame inside the snakes, temporarily empowering flame attacks. Once ignited, strong attacks and other moves that strike the ground will cause an explosion. So stuff like this makes it really funny to me that the Black Knights, Andreas and like his son, were like, "Oh no, Mesmer's a snake. Who could have guessed it?" I mean, obviously, with like hindsight, it's just really funny because he's so heavily serpent coated. It's like, how could you not think the dude is a snake? But anyway, common soldier helm, Mesmer soldier greaves. Greaves worn by soldiers who serve Mesmer the Impaler, rusted and crusted in filth from fighting in unending war. So the term for filth here, if I'm remembering correctly, is kegare, but the kanji used is the form of kegare that is more specific to like physical filth rather than metaphysical, spiritual type filth that I was talking about more in my last big video. So, helm worn by soldiers who serve Mesmer the Impaler, the iron helm features a visor. Though the engraving upon the forehead is a shadow tree design, it is etched in gold, a small consolation to those forced to wage a war without grace or honor. So, yeah, I feel like there's a lot to talk about, but I'm just kind of at a loss of words right now to hit on this point as well as I'd like. So, oh, yeah, the shield on the boss room from before. So let me read your other comment about that. You think it's America's crucifix? It also resembles a weapon in the game. So the banana boat looking like thing does kind of look similar to the little candles, I guess if you want to call them that the Hornsent Inquisitors have, which we don't get to use ourselves, saddeningly. So whether or not that's supposed to be America's crucifix is open to interpretation, like a rune arc could be another potential way of looking at it. So potentially, yeah. The Lion Sword Masters in the clouds? Yeah. The Omen? Oh, you're talking about the Curse Blades with the circular swords? Yeah, the Curse Blades are pretty rough. But it felt like the Curse Blades were beatable. It would just cost me a flask or two, which is not fun. Whereas like these dudes, it felt like they could one-shot me. Global Sequence says, the Iris of Grace has a depiction of the Crucible era Erdtree sigil, which you thought may be helpful in placing the time of certain events in the Land of Shadow. Well, I still do think that the ancient Erdtree sigil is indicative of Godfrey's time, at least before the, what's it called? The Order of Erdtree Faith, or Erdtree Worship. So you might have a point about that, but it also feels like the irises predate a lot of the Crusade timeline stuff, but that's a fair point as well. We can't see the skies and stars in the Shadow Realm? Is that true? I know we can see the moon. I guess I haven't really paid attention to the stars. Although, to be fair, in certain locations in the base game, you don't see the stars, and they get more pronounced in places like Liurnia and the mountaintops of the Giants. And obviously, like, Caelid during the Radahn fights. So, I think that's it here. I'm just going to go back this way and pick up the map fragments and go that way. Pokemon says, if you remember correctly, there's cannons in Redmane Castle 2 protecting the entrance to the festival arena. Also Stormvale, the place that has the one hornless omen and like the dog next to it. So we'll follow the road to Grandmother's house after we level up. They need to protect their cool flail we never see anyone using. True. We're just going to pump strength. So now I'm officially at the level that I started the DLC at. They gave Radon gravity magic because Miyazaki knows this is the strongest. All right. Map Shadow Altus. What did I get hit by? That's kind of funny. Sick flip, bro. Sliver of meat. There must have been like a dude underneath the horse. Oh. So this is supposed to be a depiction of the Shadow Tree, I guess. Which is interesting. It looks like a tree split in half from this angle. Oh no. Maybe that's the trick all along. So if the Erdtree represents America and the Shadow Tree is part of the Erdtree and represents its shadow, then a tree potentially being split in half could represent both America and Radigan, which kind of aligns with a lot of thoughts that I have about this. But this depiction of it doesn't match what we see here, because it looks like a full-on thing rather than something that's actually been split in twain. Hey, Asterati, welcome on into the stream. Right, I don't want to fight any of the dogs. Right, so let's go ahead and heal up for the Quayline fight that we're going to cheese the hell out of. Actually, I don't really remember what all is going on over there. Church of the Crusade. Where do we get this?
Thou shalt not evade the flame of Mesmer.
I'm gonna let him kill me to see what he says.
Queen Marika, behold, I have excised another cancer to thy joy.
Damn, he called us cancer. Alright. So I know Quayline has some pretty other interesting dialogue in relation to America. Like how he won't let anybody else sully her. He doesn't say it quite that way, but that's kind of like the gist of the message. I didn't remember if he said it here or if it's when we need to either give him the Iris of Grace or occultation or whatever. What's the deal with these weird fire pits? Are you talking about the one in the church itself, or are there other ones that you're talking about? He's just a dork simping for America. Well, to be fair, she kind of is the god of the lands between. Like, in a literal sense. I tried to jump... Okay, I was about to say, I tried to jump like I was going to get dismounted from Torrent. Well, I was, but just because of the invasion thing.
Thou shalt not evade the flame of Mesmer.
Oh, Lordy coming. I was expecting him to dodge. He got moves. I don't think he was using any of these the first time we fought him. Damn it. If I was a little bit faster with that, I didn't realize I was knocked down the way that I was. I would have been able to kill him before he healed. Why did I roll backwards?
How could this be? Forsake me not, Queen Marika, my grace.
Fire Knight Quaylon died, so we got the Flame Skewer and the Prayer Room key. Yeah, so this is reminiscent of the Forge of the Giants, but not really. It's interesting that we get flame here. Obviously it's the Church of the Crusade, which is evocative enough. But actually, we don't really get any Erdtree chalices, basins, whatever you want to call them, in any of the Shadowlands churches. So maybe it does show that the Erdtree wasn't around for them to collect their grace, or their blessings, their sap, when these churches were constructed. Might need to think about that a bit more. Right. So, yeah, I'm not sure what this is for. Maybe it's supposed to depict some kind of a reverence of fire, which is also weird because fire is supposed to be anathema to the Erdtree, which is why... might be why the people of Mesmer's forces were driven from the Erdtree lands, but another description does say that they were all nobles. So anyway, map of Shadu Altus. The plateau occupied by Mesmer's army that peers towards the Shadow Tree to the northeast, named after its counterpart in the realm of the Erdtree. At its center lies the Shadow Keep. So this is one of the bigger indicators that the realm of the Erdtree is indeed separate from the realm of Shadow. But how and why they became separated, we don't truly know. We have some pretty big inferences to look at based off of like the story trailer, but it is questionable both when the lands were separated, because we've got all the Carians, which I keep repeating ad nauseum, in this area, as well as like the sealing of Anir Alim versus like the Crusade, because Anir Alim was veiled by the time of Mesmer's Crusade based on the story trailer, and it's not clear whether it was veiled when Marika did her thing, or if Mesmer and his forces veiled it before they burned Bellurat. Maybe to preserve the Divine Gate and burn everything else? I don't know. Ash of War, Flame Skewer. Skill of Quaylon of the Fire Knights. So that's pretty much it as far as the flavor text goes. Prayer Room Key. Iron key with an engraved crest. Opens the door to the prayer room and the house of worship found in the church district of the Shadow Keep. So, that's pretty much it for here. We've got another defaced statue of Marika. And I've wondered whether or not Mesmer and or his forces were defacing them, so that way all of the maledictions and ire of those who were purged in the Crusade would be directed more specifically toward Mesmer than Marika herself. So this is really annoying that we've got a Forager Brood over here, and as far as I know, the only way to actually heal them is with the items, because I was using incantations and it didn't work. But anyway, I don't know if I have a Warming Stone on hand. I'm assuming I do. Okay. Because on my first playthrough, I actually had to go back into the base game and figure out where to get where to craft the recipe for the Warming Stones. So now that this guy has been healed, we can go ahead and reload the area to get the item that he'll give us, and then talk to Moore. The fire pit is frenzy color, even though there's obviously no correlation. I never thought it would be related to the frenzied flame. So now that we've rescued it, it's stuck in the ground. We get the Forager Brood Cookbook Tier 4 and the Shadow Sunflower. And so before I read those, I'm going to go visit more. The light from the warming stone looks a lot like the fire pit. I think, fire can just be yellow at times. Yellowy.
Welcome. Oh, I know. This is for you. The forager brood give their thanks. Many things we have found. I like finding things for you, Lady Leda, her allies, and the forager brood. Things bring joy to all.
Have I ever emoted in the fire pit? I cannot say that I have.
Goodbye.
Curse Miyazaki for making your most hated enemies into lovable ones. Well, the good news is he also gave you pink ones to hate even more. So, okay. Forage Brood Cookbook number 4 gives us the Holy Proof Pickled Liver. Actually, I've never really examined what's going on with the depictions on these. I think, yeah. Wait, are they different? They're different. Spirit Raisin and Charming Branch. Holy Pickled Proof Liver. Okay, so this is supposed to show the liver, I guess. Interesting. Shadow Sunflower. A large flower that blooms facing the Shadow Tree. Found near the Shadow Tree. These flowers, veiled in shadow and covered in impenetrable thorns, are suffused with profound holiness, much akin to the Shadow Tree itself. So also on the icon, you can see a couple of the dots which kind of look like the stars on the sunflower boss itself, but yeah. Obviously, the stalk of it does have thorns, which are interesting and kind of ties in with all of the other Shadow Tree lore that we have. And the thorns in general being linked to Radagon does make me wonder if the impenetrable thorns, the thorns of rejection, etc. are indeed actually meant to be related to him. And if so, it still does bother me that we never actually get any Radagon vine type attacks during our fight with him. And I've wondered whether or not like all these thorn things are supposed to be related to the thorns of the guilty or the briars of sin and the guilty and whatnot, and whether that has any connection with the horn scent and any of their supposed involvement in the war against the giants, because the giants on the mountaintops are impaled with these kind of thorny like vines, which don't really match up with anything else that we know of. Alright, Spirit Raisin and Charming Branch. Let's go ahead and actually check out what those things are. I don't even know where they'd be on this. Okay, sweet. Charming Branch. Beast Horn, Dew Gem, Empyrean Blood Virgin. Branch blessed with an incantation of unalloyed gold. Uses FP to stab an enemy, charming it and the surrounding enemies. Charmed enemies act as your allies for a short while. I wonder if I could use this in the boss fight with the NPCs. I'll try to remember to do that. Those who would otherwise be at each other's throats are united in service to Mikola, as long as the charm that binds them remains intact. Script Stone, we got that. And what else do we get? The branches, Spirit Raisins. Preparation of dried rata fruits. Feed to Torrent while riding to enable the spectral steed to push back enemies when breaking into a gallop. The effect ends after a short time. A bitter medicine traditionally claimed to enhance one's spirituality, but Torrent seems to have a taste for it. So Rata Fruits increases spirituality. I don't know if this actually heals him. I'm gonna get a couple of these. And then what else do we get? We got that, that. Oh, and then the liver. Okay. That's good enough for me. They draw, yeah. Methoda said, are they just single pages, not cookbooks? So the one with 2 recipes is 2 pages? Maybe? Or maybe they're part of a greater cookbook and they're the pages of the cookbook. Enter Y is getting the idea that the Shadow Tree was quote-unquote better than the Erdtree. Why do you think that? I've wondered if it was supposed to have been the quote-unquote original Erdtree and or the Crucible, but I might save that for like a big video. I mean, I've talked about it on stream a bit, but that might be like the next project that I tackle. Pokemon's mad you got locked out of those last 2 cookbooks in your original playthrough because you missed the Forge Brew next to the church. Same here. Like, I saw it, but I didn't know what it was. Was anyone born from the Shadow Tree? It doesn't seem like it. At least not in like the same sense that it's implied with the Erdtree at times. Alright, so now that we've done that in the west, let's go fight a Dryleaf Dane. Alrighty, so we need a new gesture. Where it is. There it is. Flesh of my body, okay. So we get a kind of Everjail type effect going on here for no real reason. We just bowed to our guy. So maybe veiling places in shadow is just a random ability that some people can do for no reason. He definitely was able to one-shot me with his palm strike when I had no blessings. Dang, I didn't mean it. I meant it. My sword swung too high. That's annoying. That's like my biggest complaint about the AMOG. Oh. He punched me too hard. Feels bad, man. Oh yeah, I should probably show off his face. I guess I could show off his face after the fight. Or even now, because I died. So his little necklace is supposed to, like, what, depict dried leaves or something like that? And symbolizes something with Mikola? I don't remember the description off the top of my head. Alright. Black Man, nice to see you again. All the death that was thought to be feeding the Erdtree was actually feeding the Shadow Tree? Maybe. Especially if the Shadow Tree is indeed related to, quote-unquote, the Erdtree's roots. I wonder if they nerfed the sword, because I was able to stun lock enemies. Oh, I'm out of stamina. I was able to stun lock enemies with it, the follow-up attack. And now they're reliably dodging. Maybe I was just incredibly lucky my first playthrough. I need to heal. Yeah, that's the trick right there. If they are slow to get up, you can just follow it up with a charge. Alright. This sword's effects are so much like the Serpent Hunter? Oh, because like the stabby wind? A little bit. So we get Dry Leaf Arts plus Dane's Hat. Okay, so he does just kind of like screw off once you defeat him. A technique for hand-to-hand combat without the aid of a weapon. This martial art combines fist strikes and kicks. The teachings of a group of spiritual seekers known as the Dryleaf Sect, revealed only to those of worthy valor and character. The practice of this martial art marks the dawn of an ascetic's journey. Dane's hat. The sun-faded and lightly soiled hat of Dryleaf Dane, worn low over the eyes, it obscures the wearer's vision. Meeting the gaze of another can overcome the senses, often leading to the downfall of those who walk the noble and solitary seeker's path. Has anybody ever seen Code Geass? Now that I think about it, the way that Miquella can charm others is kind of like the way Lelouch, the protagonist of the series, can charm others as well, like meeting gazes. Maybe that was something that he could do when he still had his rune, as opposed to like grabbing us in his god form. So if that is the case, I wonder if Dane was never actually charmed by Miquella because he stays by his side, and this is just the path that he actually chose for himself. It makes sense. That would go along with all the other Dryleaf lore that we get. They saw like the withering of the Erdtree's leaves, and we're like, okay, well, we need a new god, don't we? Alright. MK thought the sun was frigid in Elden Ring. I don't think the sun itself is frigid. I think the depiction of the sun in the eclipse with Castle Sol is a bit more frigid. So the question is, do we want to go this way, or do we want to go like visit the suppression pillar? Zoink Scoob. I got jarred. So we got 2 dogs over here, right? Alright, so I might screw this up. I don't know if this dude drops anything specific, but there's a Curseblade Hornsent who will try to gank me for getting his guy. Oh lordy, coming. I thought he had a grab attack for a second. I was like, really? Damn it, he got me in the heel. I should have picked up that item. I mean, I really should have just dismounted Torrent and fought him. It looked like there was more of a protrusion by his butt, like there should be a tail there or something. Maybe that's just like his spine, his tailbone comes out that much. How does it fade the cloth? Could you elaborate? Okay, so that's the grab. Heal. There we go. Can we? No, they turned into mist. That sucks. Who are these shadow people? Just Shadowland natives? So they're all Hornsent who may have been killed by Mesmer's forces in the Crusade. I'll try to show some of them off. So we got another fragment and some golden horn tender, which is old currency used by Hornsent made by coating spiral horns with gold. Boost the amount of runes obtained from defeating enemies for a certain duration, can also be sold for a high price, once bestowed upon inquisitors as an honor. So this does make me curious as to whether or not the Inquisitors and the Horns Hunt valued runes or just gold in general, whether or not they used those horns for their effects or if there's something else going on. So if we look at some of these, I hate the damn messages. If we look at some of these ghosts, we can see Horns Hunt horns on them. This is not a good angle for it though. But we'll be able to show off more of them. Shattered Stone Talisman, which is one of the cooler items in the game. As far as the lore is concerned, I didn't mean to fall this way. Zoink Scoob. Dylan struggles with the curse blades a lot, but not so much as a caster. They're pretty rough enemies. They're very mobile. They can be kind of staggered a bit, which is pretty nice. Alright, that should be good. So when we look at these guys up close, you can see that they actually have horns in their heads. And the hefty furnace pots in English say that Messmer's flame burns both body and soul, but the Japanese just says it burns things to the soul, which could explain why these guys persist as they do in death. Really wasn't trying to fight all these things, but... oh well. Okay. MK was saying, if the sun was weak, why would Dade need a sun guard hat, and how would it fade the hat as it does in the description? But maybe the sun is not frigid in general, like I said. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I don't know if it was actually meant to like shield him from the sun as much as it was to like be tilted down so he didn't need to meet the gaze of others. Oh yeah, and so another cool thing about a lot of the ruined towns here is that we have more graves. And the horns on these graves are much smaller than the ones in Belurot, which does make me wonder if they like did come from the people of the graves. Shadow Realm Ruin. Hey, we got a guy with the golden eyes. Hello, girl. And as we look around here, we also see like the spiral type trees. And so, talking about like whether or not the Shadow Tree is like the original Crucible and everything, and like the Horn Sense relation to the Crucible and or spirals, it doesn't help that these kind of depictions of the spiral tree also don't look like what we get with the Shadow Tree and its thorns and whatnot. So there's probably a lot of room for argument about if there was a Crucible tree and or what it would have actually looked like. Alright, so what's the safe way? I think we need to go in the building. No? Wasn't there? I think there's another way down here. Get some string. Sweet. White flesh mushroom. And as we come down here, we come closer to a church area. I wonder if these are the same depictions. Yeah, so I believe we saw these in near a limb as well. Not in near a limb, but Belurot as well. Oh, I forgot about the Inquisitors. Okay, cool. So it actually cast one of its hexes, which is kind of rare. So it looks like these ones can actually use their fire breath after all. Actually, let's hit it. I don't know if these ones can heal themselves, but I want to try to show off the spiral tree sigil. Hey, Aina, nice to see you again. Pokemon. Sweets. So it happens really quickly, so it's hard to get a good look at it on like a live stream, but it almost looks like two hands come out of the far end of the spiral tree sigil. And from that, we get golden arcs. So I guess we could probably show this off on here. It's really hard to see because of the gold on the icon. But anyway, a sorcery of the Inquisitors of the Tower wielded as an incantation of the spiral. A swing of the arm releases a procession of golden arcs. Charging enhances potency. The arcs resemble barbs, a known symbol of coercive questioning. So this is a sorcery, but it's cast as an incantation, which might explain why Alberich's set can increase the power of these barbed, thorny sorceries. So it uses pure faith, which is kind of an interesting symbol of like heresy or like heretical type beliefs in the FromSoft games when sorceries are scaled with faith and vice versa. So this probably shows like the Hornsent culture is kind of different from America, even though that they're all based on faith. Like these are sorceries technically, not incantations, whereas all of the Erdtree stuff is technically incantations. So right. The actual spiral tree sigil itself kind of reminds me of the Godslayer Greatsword with the way that the hilt curves down, and at the top of it, it looks like two hands are coming out of the spiral in the middle, like, but you can't really see that with this icon. So anyway, golden arcs, gold affiliated with the Hornsent, and they kind of believed in the Crucible. But this stuff is different from the Erdtree. It's strange that this isn't like red-hued gold, if that makes sense. Shattered Stone Talisman. Shattered Linchpin Stone. Raises potency of kicking and stomping skills. Linchpin stones are spiritual anchors said to hold the ground in place and quell the fury of earthquakes. When this one was shattered, the surrounding town fell into the broken earth. One account claimed that the moon itself had come tumbling down. So that final line right there makes me wonder if this was supposed to have like depicted a moon itself, like before it was broken. But let's see if I can find it. Stakes of America say upon dying you'll be revived at the last site of grace that you visited. However, if there's a stake of America near where you died, you can choose to be revived there instead. The term used for stake is kind of similar to linchpin. I don't think I've double checked the Japanese to see if it's the exact same term between this and the talisman. But when I saw this talisman, it made me think of the Stake of America thing, because that was just something that stood out to me. And it was really cool to me, but I never really shared it too much, I don't think, because there's not like a lot of actionable information that goes with it. So anyway, if the Stakes of America are linchpins, does that mean like America and her powers were like literally forcing the lands between into a certain shape? Does that explain why like the shattering of the Elden Ring could have like changed the landscape of like Mount Gelmir and stuff like this? Like, are the Stakes of America literally keeping the lands between in place? I think the Shattered Stone Talisman kind of can reinforce that belief. So it's kind of fun to have something like this to talk about and tie it more directly into something that was just a crackpot theory originally. A sorcery cast is an incantation? What on earth? Why would they make such a thing? Good question. Maybe it's because, like, they understood something on a fundamental level that it was just belief. It's kind of hard to say what exactly the differences between sorceries and incantations are. And with Metter's staff, they might not be so different after all, which wouldn't be that big of a surprise considering, like, the pedigree of previous FromSoft games like Demon Souls, Sage Frake, and the old one Talisman and whatnot. And so anybody who like might not be following along what I mean by that, it's just kind of been a custom in FromSoft games for sorceries and incantations or prayers to kind of all be the same thing fundamentally, but just kind of represented differently based on people's beliefs of what those things were. And they do like to swap around like faith and sorcery as being like heretical to show that they kind of are fundamentally the same thing. So anyway, I'm not going to do Bonnie Village yet, I don't think. I might save this a bit more for if we go to the Shaman Village. Well, do I want to do the Lamenter thing now? No, Lamenter isn't here. I was confused. This is where we get Labyrinth. Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to do this one. Yeah, I'll save this for later when we do like the Shaman Village. And then instead I'm going to go through the Cool Cave and fight a bear maybe. And Tawai says, the lands between was going to break apart like Pangaea. Maybe if all of the stakes of America were destroyed, something like that could happen. I don't remember if I fully explored this place. I know I got the fragments, which I need to use. But I don't think I went in here. Fire Knight's Cookbook. How rude. Uh-oh, I'm gonna die. Okay, nope. Close, though. Dylan vaguely associates sorceries with epistemology and empiricism and incantations with faith and willpower. Oh yeah, I definitely think that's the case. But I would also need to reconsider the types of heretical sorceries, which scale on faith and whatnot. But part of the reason why it would be fundamentally the same thing is if you can manifest your faith and belief physically in the world, does it not then become empirical and therefore able to be studied and therefore able to be understood? And I mean, that's kind of what that's exactly what you would get with like Golden Order fundamentalism. So I think it all works out. Do I want to go over there? No, I don't want to deal with the stupid dragon. Alright. I guess we will go north after all. So... Oh, wait. Is there anything else to do before we accidentally break the seal? Because if I go this way, that'll happen. I think we could go towards Manus Metter, but that might also break it up. So I'm going to say like this is the point of no man's land, no return. Alright, I'm going to run through Bonnie Village to go to Manus Meadow because I'm curious if it breaks over here on its own accord. You like how FromSoft explores faith as a concept? Because it's shallow in a lot of other media. Man, trying to resist the urge to loot everything here. I should probably just look at the ground for any people avoiding spoilers. No, I'm just kidding. We saw a potentate. Now we gotta ignore the Tooth Whip ghost. Alright, so this is like one of the only spots in the game where we get a bunch of wolves. We also have the Rivermouth Cave for whatever reason. Which it just felt like they put wolves in the cave because sometimes wolves are cave enemies for some reason. And may as well start crafting some hefty fire pots. For no particular reason. Damn, it breaks right here? Somewhere a great rune is broken. And so too has a powerful charm. Wow, that really sucks for people trying to come around this way. Alright, maybe we'll just go back to talk to Letta and Ansbach and all them. Is Freya still here? Let's see if she's still here.
Oh, there you are. Good. If you happen to see Lady Leda, tell her that I'm striking out on my own. Don't worry, I've no mind to cross any of you. The guidance of kind Mikola remains etched into my very flesh. It's only... there's something that I must know. Kindly Mikola spoke of the vow he once made with General Radahn, and it is here the vow shall be honored. I am a Redmane. I must know the nature of the vow. I'll be out on my own for some time. There's something I must know.
Alright, so this is pretty much the first indication that there's a Radahn and Mikola connection in the game.
There is no need for concern. I will be true to my word. Though I do feel a hint of regret. Lady Leda, Honorable Ansbach, and warriors like you are all of a special breed. How glorious it would have been had we met in battle as sworn enemies. I'll be out on my own for some time. There's something I must know.
I don't remember if you can attack her here, so let's do it this way. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can't fight her here, but you can fight her in the Shadow Keep. So she still disappears. I was wondering if like their dissipation was related to Mikola's charm, but apparently not. So if I would have rested, she would have just disappeared. So nothing lost there. And to why I think most people head to the Shadow Keep pretty early and it'll break then. Yeah, I've heard of people like having it break in the woods, so it seems like that might have been where it happened, or potentially hold on. Or maybe potentially going through this area too could have done it to Rao base. It's kind of funny that some people could also face Mesmer as their actual first remembrance boss. Just like through normal play, if they happen to go to like Fort Reprimand early rather than Castle Ensis. which I like that, to be honest.
Kindly Mikola has discarded his great rune. The fog that vexed my aging faculties has been lifted, and follies better left forgotten haunt me once again. Once, in an attempt to free Lord Moog from his enchantment, I challenged tender Mikola, only to have my own heart rather artfully stolen. I knew not how weak I was. I believed that with sufficient mastery, even an Empyrean would be within reach of my blade. I could not have been more mistaken. Mikola the Kind is a monster, pure and radiant. He wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. There is nothing more terrifying.
I love that quote. I used that in my fake trailer video, and I had to like isolate the audio, so I was really upset that I didn't get even like a nomination. Even if I would have lost, it would have been fine, but I was really upset when a lot of the nominations were breaking the contest rules. Anyway, that's not too important. So, Ansbach talking about Moog beating the allegations is really cool. It definitely reaffirmed some of my theories that Moog might have been inadvertently charmed by Mikola in the base game, whether or not Mikola intended it. So this kind of just shows that Mikola did indeed intend it. But we do have a lot of questions lingering about the circumstances of how that happened. And even Ansbach's story here doesn't seem to line up, because I think his weapon might talk about how he wounded Mikola and blood came out. Or there's something else. Maybe it was Letta who says something like that. And this makes it sound as though his blade never reached Mikola. Maybe this is an English-Japanese thing that I might not need to look into, but either case, like, this is probably one of the bigger hints that the things with Mikola aren't all on the up and up.
Righteous tarnished. Mikola the Kind makes my blood run cold. I am loath to admit it, but even at this very instant I wish to run very far away indeed. Righteous tarnished. Mikola the Kind makes my blood run cold. I am loath to admit it, but even at this very instant I wish to run very far away indeed.
So his blood being able to run cold is a really big info, because this guy uses blood flame. Badumch. Okay.
I don't feel it. It's broken. Kind Mikola's light is gone. But I stand tall. Together, we work. Together. For Mikola the Kind.
Alright, so we got our little, what's he called? Cookbook page from Moore. So then the question should be whether we tell him to remain perpetually sad or not, because we did the Forge Brood thing. So I'm actually probably going to say to stay sad forever, because that will kill him, which a lot of people will end up missing, and we won't have to fight him in the actual boss fight, even though he's kind of a pushover. He's just kind of like a tank, essentially. Go figure.
I don't know what to do. Our mother abandoned her brood. She did not love us. We are her children. What should we do? Must we be sad forever?
So we could tell him, put it behind you, remain sad forever. And I think if you say, I don't know, it doesn't really change anything. And you just have to talk to him again. So I'm going to tell him to remain sad forever, because I imagine most people won't be doing this. And then Ryushun, welcome back to the stream. No, we've actually got a pretty decent while left on the stream. At least, 45 minutes.
Sad forever. Sad forever and ever. I like finding things for you, Lady Leda, her allies, and the forager brood. Things bring joy to all.
Alright, so I think Moore will leave now, and maybe Ansbach does. And if he does, I'm really confused at how I got the one message about the Empyrean Eye. Okay, so Moore is still here. Maybe I need to fast travel here real quick. I think that might be what resets it. Damn it. Oh, no, maybe I tell him about it in the Shadow Keep. So anyway. Oh no, I remembered what I did. I went to the damn cross before coming here. Ah, I screwed up, guys. Maybe. Maybe I can still talk to him in the Shadow Keep about it. Fudge. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Damn it. So we're going to go to the Fishewer. And I might not go through the entire area tonight. Maybe just the beginning. Alright, we're at the door. I'm like ready to hop down. I goofed, I think. Really disappointed at that. It's like one of my favorite dialogues in the game. So as we come into the stone coffin fissure, we see a bunch of stone coffins. Go figure. They're all like jutting in the ground out, so it's kind of strange how they came to be in this position, which I don't really know how to explain. And so from this angle on the coffins, we can see a lot more of the human imagery that I was talking about in the Cerulean Coast region. And for whatever reason, we get a bunch of blood fiends in this area. The stone balls creatures in the base game could have been so much harder if they were all hostile and had the same sniper laser like they do here. Yeah, that would have been pretty wild. I remembered like when I first walked up on the lookout stones, I was like, oh, whatever, it's just these dudes. And then later on in the dungeon, they finally had one do the laser eyes. I was like, what is this? This is different. I was so excited. When they make a rather known enemy into something new, it's always a plus. So get the Blood Fiend's Rock. Okay, that explains that. Or did I say Blood Fiend's Rock? I meant Fork. Alrighty. And in this area, some of the Blood Fiends have sleep-based enchantments or affinities on their weapons. Because why wouldn't they? I'm kind of surprised at how much of a pushover the Blood Fiends are. Kind of literally. Because they're like way bigger than like a Curse Blade. But you can just kind of perma stun them. Except for like the super big ones, which are legitimately scary. Shadow Realm Rune. And some string. Yeah, so my initial impression of the Blood Fiends are that I thought that they were demi-humans because they dropped string. But as I like did all of the Outer God heirloom research and stuff, I was like, oh no, those things are actually Hornsent, huh? Just definitely not what I expected. Which of course, like the Hornsent could potentially be an advanced form of demi-humans for all we know, but we don't know. Is an exciting twist on the familiar? Indeed. With the lookout stones. kindly, Mikola. I see you've thrown away something you should not have under any circumstances. How will you salvation offer to those who cannot be saved when you cannot save your other self? Right, close enough. So that is obviously the biggest hint that he abandoned his other half, his Saint Trina. Carved words coalesce. I abandon here my love. Which, it's kind of interesting as to whether or not he's speaking metaphorically or literally, or a little bit of both. Which is, if he is speaking literally, I think it's funny that I made my own joke of, like, why didn't my guy abandon here his ADHD to complete his plans, but anyway. I was really excited to come here. Like, as soon as I saw, like, the seal break, I was like, oh, I could come to this place? And so that's immediately what I did, which is why I got that on-spot dialogue in my first playthrough. Was there a reason to jump down there? Yes. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So I'm going to jump down to this side of the map so that way I don't forget about this later on. And then I'm going to head back elsewhere. I shouldn't go this way. Praise the research. Okay, so there's nothing here. I thought there's another spot. Our Crusader wonders how the Blood Fiends connect with the rest of whatever's going on in the Shadowlands. Why there aren't any of these guys in the Mogud Palace or some such places. Yeah, well, it seems like they are like the horn scent of this area or whatever. And they aren't Omen, which is kind of strange. Maybe they aren't Omen because of their blood flame connection? I don't know. Alright. Black Man was super stoked to come here, but you already broke the seal. Yeah, like the first thing that I tried to do was to get to the Cerulean Coast. And then I did. And then when I was in the Cerulean Coast, I explored everything. See ya. Deep Purple Lily. I thought there was a place that you jump down around here. Maybe that is further along. And not the place where you get the Eternal Sleep Sword of Saint Trina either. But there's another one. And so this, I guess, is good enough. Without asks, why cut out Saint Trina? What's to be gained? I think in order for him to ascend to godhood, he needed to rid himself of all that came before. And maybe I didn't talk about the full idea of like the sins and stuff earlier with everything, but there's a lot of text about Mikola abandoning his flesh. I guess there's not a lot of text. It was the one Hornsent dialogue where he says Mikola wanted to shed his flesh to wipe away clean the sins of the Erdtree. And his creation might be mired in the sins of Marika. It might be like the big takeaway of that. So, in order to become a divine god, he might need to purify himself. And if his flesh is literally tainted, he cannot be pure and still hold on to something like Saint Trina, which might be why he needed to abandon everything. At least that's what I make of it. I could be wrong about that too. So let's go back this way, and we'll fight the bear, and then go through the cool cave. Pokemon says, St. Trina seems to be the same situation Marika had to Radagon. Well, the thing about that is we don't really see Marika abandon Radagon. So, like, her so-called ascension to divinity seems distinct from what Mikola says he wants to do by following her steps. Because Marika didn't abandon her other half, as far as we know, unless there was another half before Radagon, which, you know, could very well be Melina for all we know. Black Knight Greaves. I don't think we've gotten any of their set yet. Greaves worn by the Black Knights, servants of Mesmer the Impaler. Black iron ornamented with gold. A rotten odor stubbornly clings to it. Perhaps it arises from the tainted nature of the blood that splattered upon it. Or perhaps it is the wearer's own blackened soul, festering after endless slaughter. So this kind of ties into the soap description, where filth covering the exterior eventually seeps inside, soiling one's very spirit. And this kind of does inform us that the Horntent have tainted blood, which I wouldn't necessarily take this to be factual language because it's phrased as a hypothetical, but it does get confirmed in a different item description, which I can't remember off the top of my head. So, alright, I'll leave that alone for now. The Fire Knight Cookbook gives us Mesmer Fire Grease and Drawstring Mesmer Fire Grease. Alright. Blood Fiend's Fork. Weapon used by the Blood Fiends. 3 tines of carved bone spear the victim to provoke blood loss. A ritual implement for blood offerings to the Formless Mother. At times, the Blood Fiends will spill even their own blood using these forks. I think this weapon is actually really good for a spear because you can infuse it with like poison or something like that, and you can use it to sword and board, like the Anspur Rapier, but you can also inflict blood loss along with it. It's actually surprisingly powerful in the proper scenarios. Do I think it's actually the same path that Marika took, or is it just him? Hold on, I can't read. Or is it him trying to go extra hard? It's kind of annoying because... What the hell is that lighting? We're told one thing in like the promotional materials, that he is following her footsteps. I think Miyazaki might say that in an interview. But what he's doing seems to be really different from what she did, which might just mean like we don't really understand what's going on. Which, if that's the case, it's really freaking annoying that the entire purpose of our DLC experience is to follow Mikola, and we still don't know what's going on. So we should get another larval tier. Before that, let me read chat. For whatever reason, they're destined to become one with this other random person, it seems. I doubt it, but maybe. Marika and Radagon accepted their fate, you assume, and Mikola tried to deny it by just throwing her other self down a well or something. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Well, maybe it wasn't Mikola's original fate to become a god, and that's why he had to divest everything of himself, including his like former fate that was given to him with the Erdtree and Saint Trina. Yushin thinks Saint Trina was the kind part of Mikola, and she knew that godhood would be his prison. Thus, Mikola shed himself of her in order to grow the courage to be trapped by godhood. Maybe. And so why thinks Marika usurped the position of godhood from another Empyrean? The betrayal. Yeah, I think that's a decent possibility, especially if we want to throw the Glowmide Queen into the mix, because we have her being described as an Empyrean, but there's nothing really about the Horn Scent or the Glowmide Queen in the DLC to make that satisfactory for me, which doesn't mean that it's impossible, but it's just like, okay, well, where does it all fit? Black Man thinks it's more so that you need to become a vessel for Godhood, so you need to almost completely empty yourself first to be a container for the uncontainable. Right, and that ties into the whole idea of purification that I was mentioning a moment ago. And Phantom Leaves, welcome back into the stream. How's it going? Oh, we got a brand new message. Okay. I wonder if anybody in chat just left this. Try Knights. Okay. Voltaire. America achieved godhood and had to leave Godfrey at some point, and Radagon had to leave Rennala. The timeline's too vague to make a clear conclusion. Yep. Feels bad, man. Alright, so are we too far south still? I think we are. Nope, we're too far north. I always forget which bear this is. I just know that it's not Regalia now because I had to go back and get footage. That was not the bear that I was talking about, just to be clear. A leather crown, Highland attire, leather arm wraps, and leather leg wraps. I forgot this was here, to be honest, so this is kind of a pure luck that I managed to pick it up. The leather crown kind of visually resembles the Kaiden armor as well as the Mesmer folk. But anyway, it says held worn by Highland warriors pieced together using leather. The white favor represents their home settlement. At first I was like, is this supposed to say feather? I guess a favor might be the scrap of cloth. I guess I don't know what that is. Highland warriors are known to be hunters of bears. To them, there is no act more glorious than the subjugation of a savage beast. So, the addition of animal pelt keeps the wearer warm. So the Highlands might be related to Godfrey, but we don't really know. It just seems to be a likely conclusion. I guess I should like examine this up close someday with a free cam. There's like the little braided circle-y like things on the girdle, whatever it's called, kind of remind me of the braid thing on Mesmer's attire. Yushin says, oh yeah, Miquella's original body was cursed with nascency, not being able to complete anything he set out to do. He had to abandon St. Trina because she was also an anchor to the curse, but you find that kind of boring? No, I think that makes a lot of sense. So Miquella, I guess, is literally cursed, so it would make sense that he would need to literally purify himself, which isn't necessarily the angle you were talking about, to be fair, but he is unironically cursed. So this is the kind of boss where I don't mind cheesing it, because it's a souped up rune bear. Ralva, the great red bear. Chill bear. Should probably upgrade my mimic or figure out how to do it, huh? This will help get me some HP or defense effective HP. Oh god. It does damage. I'm gonna die. I was hoping I'd be able to break its posture. I should have played better. Say Frog, welcome back in. Sorry you deleted your own message. Yeah, because of the Highland axe, that might be the connection to Godfrey with the Highland armor set, is what I was trying to imply. I guess I could have made that clearer. If I don't mind cheese, the bear is super weak to sleep. Oh, that's interesting. I was not trying to do that. Bro, how did Torrent lose, like, 4/5 of its HP from one attack? How strong is this bear? Apparently all the strong. Kite the bear into the breath. This is so stupid. Oh my god, that just pisses me off. That's not going to do anything like that. He didn't take any damage from that. Now I have to do things the hard way? That's not fun. That was going to do a lot more effective damage than a visceral would. Scared to heal. Of course, because it's a combo now, because we're in phase 2. So I'll just save torrents if I ever need to, like, run away real quick. So I should have jumped. It sucks. Honestly, it's kind of a lot easier to fight him like this now. I rolled too slowly. Alright, that'll be it. Pelt of Ralva. The Pelt of Ralva, the Great Red Bear, worn upon the head without modification, enhances incantations of what is jokingly called Bear Communion. This untreated hide, won at the end of a bloody bout, is just the thing to make a wild bear out of a warrior. So that's kind of probably meant in a more literal sense, based off of what we now know about, like, Divine Invocation and Bear Communion, as it's jokingly referred to, being, like, locked in combat with a feral wild, emerging victorious, and allowing, like, the beast to possess one's body, essentially. So, now we can finally get our first wild skidoo flowers. Alright, so now we can go through the cool cave. This is one of the few bosses you found manageable as an astrologer? Interesting. Is it because it, like, moves so far away? You were going to post something longer, but you hit send too soon? One of the good sleep pots knocks it out and it lies on the ground for what feels like 10 seconds. I might need to do that for the next one. I do like fighting enemies, like, one-on-one like that. I'm just trying to save a lot of time for the stream, which is why I've been summoning so much. So I don't really mind it that I did fight it like I did at the end. I do legitimately get annoyed at how much damage Torrent takes, though. And granted, my Mimic took a lot of damage, but I think my Mimic is also literally level 4 right now. So I'm not surprised that that happened. But they really need to have buff torrent. Because it feels like the... Oh, damn. It feels like the revered spirit ashes do nothing for him. Alright, so now we get one of the coolest spots in the DLC, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to really have a lot of questions about this. So here we have a minor Erdtree, and it's glowing gold, just like the one in the minor Erdtree church in Altus Plateau, where we get the Golden Order Fundamentalist seal. Or I think it's just called the Golden Order seal. So if the Erdtree, minor Erdtrees are grown from Erdtree seeds, how would that explain this one's arrival here in the Realm of Shadow? Did these perfumers plant it? Does that explain things? Or is it possible that it's just a bit of the Erdtree's roots coming through the Shadowlands? I think there's a lot of different ways we could interpret this. I do like that as we get closer to the tree, we get a bunch of pure gold foliage, which kind of goes back into my ideas that the current Erdtree that we can see in the lands between is what I would refer to as Radagon's Erdtree, and I think it's been suffusing the land with more yellowy type gold, which is why the Altus Plateau is super yellow, and why I think if the Shadowlands precede Radagon's time, we don't get like a lot of the yellow gold, we get more red tinged flowers and flora in the DLC. Heal from afar. And so if this minor Erdtree is based off of like the Radagon one, like why is it down here? I think it could be because this could have like sprouted before the shattering happened, and would explain why it's like healthy the way that it is. What was I looking at? Right. Heal from afar does have the ancient Erdtree sigil though, and there is going to be another bit of an oddity with like, what is it? Wrath from afar also uses the ancient Erdtree sigil for whatever reason. And you could argue that technically it doesn't say Wrath from afar was learned after the shattering, but there is definitely some inconsistency as far as the sigils are applied to the spells in the DLC. An Erdtree incantation discovered in the Realm of Shadow. Fires a projectile toward distant allies that greatly restores HP on contact. Even when far beyond, far out of sight, the Erdtree will surely give us its blessing. So, it is questioned whether or not this was brought to the Realm of Shadow before we got here, and that's like we literally discover it in the Realm of Shadow, or if it was created in the Realm of Shadow during the ancient Erdtree times, and whether or not the Realm of Shadow was separated from the Realm of the Erdtree even this early on, which, oh boy. Anyway, the Bear's moveset reminds you a lot of Horaloo, and if that is the case, we do have the Highland Warrior set to kind of like back that up. And so there does seem to be a lot of connections between like Storms, Divine Invocation, and like Horaloo. So it does kind of seem to fit together a little bit. And then Horaloo's moveset is similar to the Beast Claw weapon, which is an esoteric technique of horned warriors. That's a good point. I never thought about that. Yeah, I can see what you mean. Without modification is clearly much smaller. No, you. That's cool, Dylan, that the bears feel very fair as a pure caster build. I like that. They feel pretty fair as a melee build, to be honest, but I know a lot of people really struggle against the bears because they never learned the Bloodborne mentality of dodging into enemy attacks. So, makes sense. Phantom Leaf says, yeah, it's me. I have questions about this minor Erdtree. Oh yeah, and for what it's worth, we also get another minor Erdtree like this one in the Shadowkeep itself. So, one of the bigger questions that really remains unresolved is just how the hell did this tree and all these plants grow so large when they ain't got no sun to shine on them? Just this hole? So, okay. Okay, yeah, Pokemon says that there is a Shadow Keep courtyard. Mine Erdtree 2, yes. No, you are correct. And there is also, like, the broken one where we get the illustrated tree spirit. Well, I mean, not broken one like this, but there's, like, a spiral tree that has the illustrated tree spirit for whatever reason. So, yeah, this is one of my favorite spots in the DLC. I don't know, there's just something about this which feels super iconic between the depiction of America right outside this cave, the random Miranda flower, which is whatever, but then having like 3 perfumers praying to this tree. I don't know. It just leaves an impression. Methoda said the placement of the incantation makes them feel like the tree is meant to show that the Erdtree's influence can be felt anywhere. A minor Erdtree could grow anywhere because its influence is everywhere. Maybe. Or it could be anywhere. And so, yeah, I think the biggest takeaway would be that I feel like those minor Erdtrees don't necessarily need to have come from golden seeds. I thought there was something that landed behind me. Okay, so as we come into this little swamp, you can actually discover a couple grave birds that have like poisonous tails. So I think there's 4 distinct types of grave birds. Ones which can use projectile attacks, which have like the glowy figure 8s in their wings. We have the poison variants, which can be found here and I think like one other swamp somewhere. And then there's also a purple velvety sleep type grave bird, which is kind of like a purple version of the poison ones. Okay, so the second grave bird on the left definitely has the little tail that you can see that's green. Damn it. Why he turned toward me? Okay, those ones do too. I feel guilty being able to one-shot them like this. Alright, this should be a good angle. Yeah, so the very tip of its tail down there at the very bottom is green, and they can use that to poison us. They're actual minor Erdtrees, shouldn't they need pots to grow? You know, that's an interesting point. I guess these things also have, like, green tipped wings. Well, if death naturally comes into the realm of shadow, maybe not. It's my mental gymnastery to help explain that. So, as we look down here, we can see the ruins of Auntie, as I like to call it. And I spent an exorbitant amount of time trying to figure out how to get down here until I was like, okay, I think I've gone everywhere I could possibly go. It has to be something to do with the Shadow Keep. And then I was like, oh, okay, I think I figured out what it is, and then I did figure it out. I'll keep things vague for now. Okay, so actually that's a pretty good angle to see its green tail. Don't know about its wings, though. Oh no, maybe the other wings just became green from like hitting the swamp. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, there's no real reason to fight all of the grave birds here. I don't remember if there's any specific treasure, which it feels like every time I say that. I was saying this before I picked it up. I was going to say, it feels like every time I say that, then I pick up something that's like, oh, kind of a big deal. Actually, I don't remember if I read the grave bird wing thing, the torso piece, chest piece. Okay, yeah, the gravebirds landed in the swamp and then they got the green wings. That's really cool that even the enemies can get green like that. Small stuff like that. Yeah, so as you guys can see, we've taken a lot of poison buildup from the guys. I forgot to put on Flame Cleanse Me still. I meant to do that a long time ago. There aren't a ton of opportunities to like be forced to use it, but anyway. I really like how if you hit them in the air, they just completely lose their balance. That looks super cool with the super green wings like that. Poor horn-scent guy. Alright, just some smithing stones. I think that's about it. And now we get to Rao base. Wait, where's our grace? There it is. Hey, Say Frog, what's a good build for that sword? It looks so much fun. Honestly, it's mostly strength, a tiny bit of arcane, and I think faith is good to augment it. So that way you could use the dragon breath spells. So this uses 35 strength, 10 dex, 19 arc. And Vitan Dunn, welcome back in. The Magma Talisman over there in the shack is OP. I haven't used a lot of the magma stuff. I meant to test that out, but I just never got around to it. So now we can show off some of the more fun stuff in the DLC. I don't think I showed off a lot of the Blood Fiends fighting Mesmer's forces before, but as you come up here to the left, you're going to see a bunch of them fighting each other over by a cave. For whatever reason, we do have some more Misbegotten in the DLC. They had a lot less of a presence than I would have expected if this place is supposed to have been, like, Crucible touched and whatnot. Anyway. Didn't mean to piss those guys off. Wait. It's got to be closer this way. Sanguine Amaryllis. There we go. Oh lord, they fighting. I'm just, uh-oh, gonna get got. Doing stuff like that. Let me panic roll a bit more, I'm sure that'll help. Kind of did. Even the big ones can, be stunned pretty easily, but at least they don't get permanently staggered. So they're actually threatening. Sacred Bloody Flesh. I was confused that that thing actually hit me. Had a little bit more range on it than I expected. They need some Brondo. Thanks for reminding me to equip Flame Cleanse Me, which I promptly forgot. It's like, I'm out of the swamp area. I don't really need it. Shadow Realm Rune, Tier 3. So we've got a cool little lake over here. I don't remember if there's an item in it. I guess it's a pond, not a lake. That is worthwhile. Okay, just some flowers like I thought. So I'm going to leave all these dudes behind and go into the Thor cave. Some more Skidoo sunflowers because we're on the north end of the map. And another forge. I hear it, but I don't remember where it is. I think I need to jump on the buildings. Maybe not. Aha. I say aha like it can do anything, but I can't. That ghost just scared the crap out of me, falling out of this tree like that. Don't do me like that, bro. Alright, well, you've got a way to fix that. I know there's a way you can actually climb up this, because I did it before. Aha, that's what I think it was. Definitely seems possible. There we go. Okay. Is it just you, or does that meteoric blade look like it's made of the same stuff as Malekith's blade? Nah, somebody else on stream had mentioned that the other night too. And then Phantom Leaves said, interesting the forges have Rao architecture. Yeah, so I tend to think that the Rao / Blackstone civilization would have been the same ones to create these forges. Because we've got like the golem stuff going on. Oh, so it just drops down because it's scared. All of that for a drop of blood. All right. Telu's Ruined Forge. This is a really exciting dungeon. For me, at least. Let's go ahead and level up and put on our spell. Oh, wow. We can level up a lot. Where did I get that many runes from? What the hell? The bear? Did I? Oh, I just must not have leveled up after I killed it. What is going on with my R1 armament power? Oh, right, because it doesn't calculate the talisman. I was like, why is it going up so much? Oh, because I wasn't dual handing. That makes sense. I almost forgot again. Looks like Soul Edge. You're not wrong now that you mention it, yeah. That's why I don't have Flame Cleanse Me on. Some DLC prep that I did, huh? Is there really a time that I would even need it anymore? Probably. I'll just complain about it when I don't have it. Shadow Realm Rune times 3. Part of the reason why I think it'd be cool to have like Ashes of War, which could like let you fly briefly, like the Crucible Wing one, I think it would just be cool to be able to like jump from here to over there, even if it breaks the game a bit. I mean, that's kind of like part of the reward for exploring a bit, in my opinion. Of course, I say that, but it would really break a lot of design, like level design. But then I suppose the question is that such a bad thing? I kind of wish I could mod Elden Ring, or like had the, not just the technical skill, but the motivation to do it. Because it'd be fun to like put stuff like that in the game. I'd also like to try to implement my coveted new game minus mode, or figure out a different way to get rid of stats and stuff. Because I don't think they're strictly necessary for the game. Smithing Stone. Smith script axe. I forgot you could get that here. So this forge is pretty stacked, I guess, as far as like cool items you can get. Smith script axe. Axe engraved with a smith script. A throwing weapon created through the smithing arts. Execute a strong attack or jumping a strong attack to throw the axe. Incompatible with Ashes of War that grants skills with an affinity. And it requires some intelligence, which is interesting, but oh well. Vuitton says, the one line from the base game that America says about her kids amounting to nothing but sacrifices or to become a lord, it's so much different after the DLC. How did I aggro both? This dude normally stays down. It must have been like where I jumped. I don't want to fight both at once. Wait, so he doesn't even have the fist weapons on. It's only that guy. Them with their little Hulk arms. I see somebody else using the A-log. I'll be honest, I do not have fun fighting these golems. Damn. Hulk smash. What am I doing? Let's just do this. This is way smarter. Yes, that's right, folks. Cheese in a video game. That is one thing that I'll say is kind of to Dark Souls 2's credit, as well as like another reason to hate it, is that they do retain enemy aggro even if you exit the game, as well as enemy positioning, which I absolutely hate for the run-up. Why are these ones so much weaker? So it's literally that first forge, which just has crazy, ridiculously strong lava dudes. So it wasn't my imagination that my sword was just hitting more in this place. I should have known better. Oh god. Not like this. So I ended up having to do the thing anyway. Why did he break from this angle? Oh god. Please no. Not like this. Get off the wall, you jerk. The weird thing is I've farmed this place so many times. I think I just always ignored the little dude, but he got up and got aggro. I don't exactly know why. I wonder if they adjusted it. Because I farmed the stupid golem fists. Because they seemed a lot cooler than they actually were. Oh my god, I got lucky there. So I'm gonna die going through the rest of this forge. Where's the thing at? Not here. Okay. These golems are very easy with ambush shard. Makes sense. You think a lot of common mobs are too easy, bosses too hard as astrologer? I can use the darts on this dude. Makes sense. And then, hey, Stoat Boat, welcome on in. Do I think she also meant that her children would be sacrifices to their own siblings' machinations? Oh yeah, absolutely. Because who else would become a lord than one of them, right? Which one of you kids wants to bury mommy? I don't know why I never thought of that. Oh god. Because she would still be the goddess in her vision, wouldn't she? So we have a heartwarming story of a golem petting a slime over here. And then we've got an angry boy up top. This dude actually has the Hulkster's fists, which he might kill us with. I rolled a little bit too slowly. And the cool thing is, the pots that these dudes wear can spawn the little lava guys like we saw up top. I do have the vial on. Alright. American, you none of her kids could rise to be the next lord. I do think that's kind of what some of the implication is. Which is still kind of even more messed up that she would be willing to sacrifice them then. Rather than just saying chill. So he doesn't have the fists on, so I wasted a lot of time trying to kill that guy. Are there really only like 2 of those dudes in the entire area like this? Finally had a jumping attack that tracked the enemy decently. Felt like I got pretty lucky on that one. That's annoying. That's annoying. Where did that one come from? Don't kill me? Okay. Oh, that still hit me. I was not expecting that. Finally. I was gonna be like, holy crap, if I actually got the fists. May as well try. Smith script shield. So not only do we get Thor, we get Captain America in this one. Round shield engraved with a smith script. A throwing weapon created through the smithing arts. Can be thrown by performing the armaments skill. So the interesting thing about this shield is that the symbols on it are not unlike the kinds of runes that we see in the Elden Beasts attacks, which, if the runes were given to us by the fingers, were this civilization, or was this civilization also influenced by the fingers? It's a bit of a rhetorical question, but yeah. You're glad, yet disappointed these forges didn't have a boss at the end? You know, I don't think I was ever disappointed at the lack of a boss in them. It just felt like, yeah, maybe I guess in retrospect I might have been, because they felt like pretty short, which isn't the end of the world, but it felt like they weren't appropriately capstoned off. Maybe they're just like, they could have used a bit more lore to flesh them out and to make them feel more satisfactory. Well, I guess part of it is that they kind of feel puzzly, but not in a good way. Like, they almost feel a little bit tedious, probably because of the golems. I think that's a big part of it. It just felt really slow coming through a lot of them. There we go. See, I do occasionally remember how to fight these damn things. Occasionally. Alright. It's a good thing there's no enemy on the side, because it would have just clocked me. Would have been clobbering time. Alright. I don't think I went this way yet, so let's go here. Nothing important. Actually, I wonder if that was even necessary. There we go. The Smith Script Great Hammer. That's the Thor weapon. So we get Thor and Captain America in the same forge. Great Hammer engraved with a Smith Script. A throwing weapon created through the smithing arts. Execute a strong attack or dashing strong attack to spin and fling the Great Hammer. Incompatible with Ashes of War that grant skills with an affinity. So, part of the reason these things are so fun... figures. That I wouldn't have the intelligence one. Okay. It's that. The Great Hammer, like, distance that you can throw it is actually pretty far. There's like a lot of the other Smith Script ones feel a little bit disappointing on that front. So obviously with it being unupgraded, it doesn't deal a ton of damage, but it's just a really fun weapon to me. And now, with all of that out of the way, we get Tailu the Golem Smith and an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Used to summon the spirit of Tailu the Golem Smith. The spirit of the stalwart stone golem who launches his own fists as projectiles. Taylor was said to be the runt of the litter and the first to stop moving, but it was he who became the guardian deity of smithery. I think the Japanese is the same on that. I don't remember if I actually checked it. Guardian deity of smithery. Let me double check this actually. And the first to stop moving, and the first to become Spirit Ashes, essentially. Which is kind of weird. I wonder when he became Spirit Ash. If this is like a post-Erdtree thing that ties into the stop moving thing. He's born the smallest. Or produced the smallest, I guess might make more sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He is the guardian deity. Okay. So I guess the golems are gods? Or maybe that's just more of a metaphorical language. Probably. That might make the most sense. Remember, guys. Hit them where they're weakest. Alright. Okay, everybody. That'll be it for tonight's stream, though. I'm not sure where I want to begin with tomorrow's stream. Whether or not I want to explore Rau base, or if I want to like do the Fisher or something like that. So I'll try to figure it out. Until next time, we'll be going live at the same time of 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay safe, take care. Last Protagonist out.